Your phobias are your ancestors' memories. You know that feeling, the dizzying spin of vertigo as you look down from a high place, the frantic, heart-pounding panic when a spider skitters across the floor, the cold dread that seeps into you when you're left in total darkness. We call them irrational fears, phobias that seem to bloom without any reason, without a specific moment of trauma in our own lives to explain them. We tell ourselves they're just glitches in our minds. But what if they aren't? What if that fear isn't yours at all? What if you're feeling the biological echo of an ancestor you never met? A fascinating and controversial field of science is exploring a startling idea that some of your deepest fears might be linked to your ancestors' traumatic experiences. Not their conscious memories, but a kind of biological warning system passed down to help you fear their monsters. This isn't science fiction. This is a journey into what some call the ghost in your genome, a story written in the language of fear. Section 1. The premise: a biological echo. For centuries, we operated under a simple assumption that we are born as blank slates. Your fears, your personality, your anxieties, they were all believed to be the product of what you saw, what you learned, and what happened to you. Anything else was just a random roll of the biological dice. But this idea is being challenged by a revolutionary field called epigenetics. And the core thesis is this: some of your most deeply ingrained, seemingly irrational fears may not be a malfunction. They could be a message, a biological echo from a past you never lived. Think of it like this. Your DNA is the hardware, the physical machine you inherit. But there's also software running on that hardware, a program that can be influenced by your ancestors' lives. This software doesn't change the hardware, but it tells it how to run. This is the world of epigenetics, and it's changing our understanding of who we are. Section 2. The new science, the ghost in the genome. To understand how a predisposition to fear could leap across generations, we have to move beyond classic genetics. Your DNA sequence, the letters that make up your genetic code, is more or less fixed. But epigenetics is the layer of control on top of that blueprint. It's a series of chemical switches that can be attached to your DNA in response to the environment. These epigenetic marks don't change the DNA's letters, but they can change how the code is read. They act like volume dials for your genes, turning some up and others down. Imagine two people with the exact same gene for stress response. In one person, that gene is set to a normal volume. In another, who has experienced profound trauma, an epigenetic switch may have cranked that volume dial way up. They might now be hypersensitive to stress. And here's the incredible part. Some scientific studies suggest these epigenetic switches can sometimes be passed down from parent to child. The trauma of a parent might leave a chemical signature that is carried in the very sperm or egg that creates the next generation. It's not a memory in the way we think of one, a story or a picture in the mind. It's more like a biological predisposition, a ghost in the genome, whispering a warning. Section 3. The proof, the story of the frightened mice. This might sound like science fiction, but it's grounded in some stunning, though debated, scientific research. An influential study came from the Emory University School of Medicine, where researchers Brian Dias and Carrie Ressler explored if a learned fear could become an inherited sensitivity. They took male mice and trained them to fear a specific smell, acetophenone, which has a scent like cherry blossom. They'd release the scent, then give the mice a mild electric shock. Soon enough, just the smell of acetophenone alone was enough to make the mice freeze in terror. But here's where it gets wild. Those mice were then bred with females. Their offspring, who had never been exposed to the smell or the shocks, showed a dramatically increased startle response to that specific cherry blossom scent. The scientists went even further, testing the grandchildren of the original mice. Incredibly, the third generation also showed a heightened sensitivity to that one particular smell, a smell they had no logical reason to be wary of. To strengthen the case against this being learned from the parents, the researchers also used in vitro fertilization and had other pups raised by foster parents. The result was the same, suggesting the fear wasn't socially transmitted. When they examined the DNA from the sperm of the original traumatized mice, they found an epigenetic change on the specific odor receptor gene that detects acetophenone. This suggests the father's experience may have altered the volume dial for that scent in their offspring, making them neurologically more sensitive to a potential threat they had never personally faced. Section 4. The human connection, the echoes of trauma. This isn't just a story about mice. Evidence in humans, though complex and profoundly somber, points in a similar direction. Dr. Rachel Yehuda, a neuroscientist at Mount Sinai, has dedicated her career to studying intergenerational trauma, particularly in the children of Holocaust survivors. For decades, clinicians noticed that many of these children seemed to have a higher risk for stress disorders, despite growing up in safe environments. Dr. Yehuda's team studied Holocaust survivors and their children, looking for a biological link. They focused on a gene called FKBP5, which is involved in regulating stress hormones. They found that both the survivors and their children showed epigenetic changes on this gene. While the specific changes were different between parents and children, the fact that the same gene was affected suggests a potential link between the parent's trauma and the child's biology. Dr. Yehuda has said these observations suggest that parental trauma is a relevant contributor to their offspring's biology. This wasn't proof of an inherited memory, but of an inherited sensitivity to stress. The parent's trauma may have tuned their children's stress response systems to be on high alert, preparing them for a dangerous world. Section 5. The mechanism, a preloaded warning system. So, how does all this connect to a specific phobia of spiders or heights? The answer might lie in a concept from evolutionary psychology called prepared learning. Proposed by psychologist Martin Seligman, the theory is that our brains aren't created equal when it comes to fear. We are prepared by millions of years of evolution to rapidly learn to fear things that were a consistent threat to our ancestors' survival. This helps explain why phobias of snakes, spiders, and heights are incredibly common, while phobias of modern dangers, like cars or electrical outlets, are less common as innate fears. For our ancestors, a quick and powerful fear of a venomous snake was a huge advantage. The one who hesitated was less likely to pass on their genes. As a result, our brains seem to be hardwired with a shortcut, a predisposition to link these ancient threats with danger. Now layer the science of epigenetics on top of this. What might be inherited isn't a literal memory of an ancestor being bitten by a spider. Instead, you might inherit a hypersensitive threat detection system, tuned by your ancestors' traumas. If an ancestor lived through a period of intense stress or danger, the epigenetic changes they passed down could lower the threshold for your brain's alarm bells. That prepared fear of heights, a normal evolutionary trait, might then be amplified in you. A slight aversion to spiders could become a full-blown phobia. The trauma of your ancestors may not have given you their memories, but it may have given you their vigilance. It's not a picture of their death, but an echo of their terror, potentially written into the regulation of your DNA. The story of our DNA is far more complex and mysterious than we ever imagined. These biological echoes connect us to our past in ways we're only just beginning to understand. If this journey into your genetic history fascinated you, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. We explore the mysteries of the mind and body every week, and let us know in the comments below. What is the one irrational fear you've always had? Can you trace its echo? Conclusion. That shiver down your spine, that sudden unearned panic, it can feel like a flaw. But seen through this new lens, it might be something else entirely. It could be a legacy. It's the end result of a long, unbroken line of people who survived predators, falls, and untold traumas, and whose bodies learned from it. They passed down not just their genes, but perhaps a ghost of their resilience, a warning system to give you an edge. Your fear might be one of your oldest inheritances. Evolution taught the body to survive, and trauma may have taught it how to remember danger on a biological level. You are not haunted by their deaths. You are empowered by their survival. Science shows us that biology can load the alarm, but it also shows us that we have the capacity to understand these echoes, respect their origins, and learn to quiet the alarms that no longer serve us. You are not broken. You are a survivor, carrying the wisdom of all who came before you.